Hello Pokemon trainers! Welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Battle Stadium Singles video here on iStarly TV. This is part of my Road to Master series where I try to climb the online ranked Battle Stadium Singles ladder. And of course today we have a brand new season and with it a brand new series or rule set, which as you can see here is bringing about all of these brand new and a lot of returning Pokemon to the metagame, and that includes a lot of Pokemon that did not exist in Scarlet and Violet previously. So here I have my first team of Regulation F, and this is a team that I worked on. I mean, I haven't really had a chance to really test it. I built it on Showdown just to kind of see how it looked and everything, and I haven't been able to test it on Showdown because they don't have the Regulation F rule set on Battle Stadium Singles there. But either way, we're going to try it out today. We're going to test it here for the first time. And obviously my ranking has reset, so we're back down in Great Ball tier, I believe. So we're going to see how many games it takes us to get to Master Ball. But of course, we're starting this new season and we're going to, try all these new Pokemon. And I actually have 4 teams already built in my game. So anyways, with that introduction out of the way, we do have the team code right there if you want to try it out for yourself. And let me know in the comments how Battle Stadium Singles Regulation F is going for you. It's brand new, literally, I think it just went live like 20 minutes ago. But anyway, the team itself. So I started with Gouging Fire. If you've seen, I made a couple of videos showcasing a few Pokemon that I really am excited for in the new format. Pokemon that I thought would be pretty good. They look like they would be pretty good, but also Pokemon that I was just generally excited to use. And Gouging Fire was one of those Pokemon. And it actually has a lot going for it. It's a Dragon and Fire type, which is something we don't typically see. That's a kind of a rare typing. Reshiram is one of those, but it's a legendary Pokemon, so you don't really see it in battles. And then Turtonator was another one in Sun and Moon, but that Pokemon's just not very good. So we finally have a Pokemon that's Dragon and Fire that's pretty strong. It has Photosynthesis, which means it does get the Booster Energy activation. And the EVs on this one, of course, I will post a Pokepaste in the description if you want to try this team out for yourself and if you want to see all of the EV spreads. This Gouging Fire is a little bit bulky. I have just enough speed so that I can outspeed non-Booster Energy, Flutter Mane, and Iron Bundle right once I come into the battle, and that means I'm going to be faster than everything else that does not have a Choice Scarf or a Booster Energy. So pretty much, a great place to start. And then we have Dragon Dance, and Gouging Fire actually also gets Morning Sun, and its defensive stats are also pretty solid as well. So it really just has a lot going for it. And then we have the double stab in Dragon Claw and Flare Blitz, which cover each other very nicely. I am going to try Flare Blitz here. The downside with Flare Blitz obviously is that recoil, but we are bulky and we do have Morning Sun to potentially heal off some of that recoil if we need to. So there's Gouging Fire. From there, I have Excadrill, who is just a Pokemon that has been very good in previous seasons or previous generations of Pokemon, just because it's a great Pokemon. It's got a great typing, great stats, and Mold Breaker is a good ability. So this one's setting up Stealth Rock. It also has a Rapid Spin, which can spin away Stealth Rock from the other side and also boost its speed. And then it's got that double stab, Earthquake, and Iron Head. I have Air Balloon against other ground types, and Terra Water just because I feel like it covers my weaknesses pretty decently. Then we've got Porygon 2, which I think is going to be a really, really good Pokemon because it's been a very, very good Pokemon in Battle Stadium Singles every generation before this, and I don't expect that to change. Well, every generation since Eviolite was introduced, and we'll see how that goes this time around. I think one of the big things that helps it is terastallizing, and I went Terra Fairy with this one. I think Fairy's an amazing defensive type, and it also complements Normal really well because of course Normal is weak to fighting. So if we're expecting a really strong fighting move, we can terastallize and we will then resist it. And then we've got 3 coverage moves which hit really hard and then recover, self-explanatory. Then I have Skarmory. This is a Pokemon I haven't really talked too much about on my videos, but it's filling the role that Corviknight tends to fill, which is I'm running max HP and max special defense, and we're gonna set up Iron Defense and then just spam Body Press and do massive damage once we've set up our defense pretty significantly. Skarmory and Corviknight are interesting when you compare them because each of them is better than the other at different things. Corviknight has better HP and better special defense, but it has a much lower defense and also slightly lower attack. So it's kind of like a mixed bag. Like, they're both really good and they both kind of serve different purposes, I would say. But we're gonna try out Skarmory because it's new and because I think it has a lot of potential in this meta. I'm running Covert Cloak for stuff like Salt Cure from Garganacl and stuff like that. And I do think just Covert Cloak just seems like a solid item. Keen Eye is a fine ability on it. You know, the other option is Sturdy, which I feel is not really useful on Skarmory because you're so tanky anyway that you don't really need to worry about like surviving hits. And I maxed special defense, so I should be able to take special hits from like special attackers. And then we've got Espeon. This is my special Espeon set that I've run on a lot of sets, and it's been working it's worked really well for me in previous videos where I featured it. It's Choice Scarf with just enough speed to outspeed the usual suspects, you know, Flutter main, Chien-Pao. And we've got Trick for slower Pokemon like Garganacl that try to like, you know, do annoying things. And then from there, we just kind of use one of these moves to do a lot of damage. And Magic Bounce is the main reason I'm running this Pokemon. Obviously, you know, Gouging Fire is weak to Stealth Rock, so, you know, that's one of the big reasons why I have Rapid Spin and Magic Bounce on this team. Finally, we have Flutter Mane. I didn't really know who to add in the last slot, if I'm being completely honest, but Flutter Mane, you know, just a fantastic Pokemon, just straight up one of the best Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet Battle Stadium singles, and I don't expect that to change. So yeah, we got Focus Sash because Gouging Fire has our booster energy, and then we have Thunder Wave and Taunt, and then we have Hex to do more damage with Thunder Wave, and then Moonblast. Terra Fire, honestly, I mean, Terra Fire is a good defensive Terra type for Flutter Mane. Honestly, this is kind of like a remnant of a previous Flutter Mane set that I ran in the past where I went Terra Fire with like Mystical Fire, but I think it's still a good Terra type. So anyway, this is the team. Let's jump right into some battles. All right, we got a battle right away, so people are ready to play. People are excited. My opponent has Primarina. That's the only new Pokemon they have. And when I say new Pokemon from here on out, I basically mean new Pokemon that are new to Battle Stadium singles in Scarlet and Violet. So Primarina is actually a Pokemon that I've been excited about using as well. I think it has a lot of potential. But with that being said, they have Glimmora, which as far as leads go, I think Glimmora and Landorus are their most likely. Flutter Mane can also be a lead, and even Primarina could possibly be a lead, but I'm expecting either Glimmora or Landorus, in which case I do have a couple of options against those because, again, I have my Magic Bounce and my Rapid Spin. I kind of think I want to go with Espeon here first. I think Espeon looks decent against both of them, and Espeon's pretty good against almost their entire team. I actually like it against their team. From there, I guess the question we should ask here is this a Gouging Fire game? If I'm bringing Espeon, I'm not guaranteed to get up Stealth Rock against my opponent, which is going to make Dragonite a little bit scarier to face, but you know, since we're kind of trying to feature Gouging Fire, I do want to bring it. And then I think I'm going to bring Porygon 2 as well. Primarina, the funny thing is, because Gouging Fire with Dragon and Fire offensive coverage, that's really, really good coverage. But the funny thing is, Primarina is one of the rare Pokemon that actually resists or is immune to both of those moves. So Primarina is actually really scary here, and I don't think I'm prepared for it. Porygon 2 can do decently against Primarina, I think. I do have Discharge, but if they Terrasilize, that could be scary. So Primarina can actually be potentially pretty scary in this first battle, but really excited here. I love the background. Have my beautiful Smeargle trainer card updated, and let's just get into some games here. I wonder if they're going to update some of the scenery, like the battlefields, whatever you want to call them, because that would be really cool. Anyway, my opponent leads Goldango, which is pretty interesting. It's possible they could have Trick as well. Wonder if I just go Shadow Ball right off the bat, and I actually do think I'm going to do that. Because they don't have a great switch. Worst case scenario, they Terra normal, but they actually don't. So we might get the kill here. We don't. I mean, I guess I shouldn't have expected that because Goldango is so bulky. I could have expected the Shadow Ball from them and just gone for the, what am I trying to say? Gone for the Terrasilization. That was actually probably something I should have considered. But at the same time, like, I don't want to burn that Terra this early. I would love to go into Gouging Fire, but if they have Primarina in the back, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble because they could just send it in after I knock out their Goldango. So let's just go ahead and go into Porygon 2 and try it out here. I think the download will probably give me an attack boost. Let me see. If it's, oh, it's special attack, that's excellent. That's actually really, really good. I'm just gonna go for the discharge here. They could go into Landorus, but I'm just not worried about that. And we're gonna see they might have Covert Cloak, which means that we would not paralyze them with discharge, but this should do pretty good damage. Oh wow, it actually does not do very much damage at all. I guess the Espeon did a lot of damage with Shadow Ball because it was super effective. So if they have Covert Cloak, I feel like they're gonna like, I feel like they're gonna Nasty Plot here. So I think I'm gonna go into Gouging Fire here, because we don't want them to set up too much, and with Gouging Fire in the battlefield, their Goldango pretty much can't, like they're gonna faint to a Flare Blitz, I think. So yeah, we're just gonna start with Gouging Fire here. They could be Terra Water, which is a Terra type I've seen on Goldango in the past, but we're just gonna see. They go Recover here. Again, if they have Primarina, I'm just in a lot of trouble, but I do think this gives me an opportunity to Dragon Dance. I could Terra. I think I Terra here, because I don't need to go Terra Fairy with Porygon because they don't have any fighting type Pokemon. So I actually think I can Terra here, and a big reason why I'm doing this is because they might have Thunder Wave. So, and that's one of the big reasons why I run Terra Ground on my Gouging Fire. So they do switch here, and it's probably going to end up being Primarina. It's not though. Oh, they go into Landorus. All right. Ground is just a really good Terra type though, because again, it means I cannot be paralyzed. It means that if I have to switch out and switch back in, I'm not weak to Stealth Rock anymore. And it removes my weaknesses to ground and dragon and stuff like that. So I'm no longer weak to an Earthquake from Landorus. So we are going to be at neutral attack though, because of course they did get the Intimidate on us. But the fact that they didn't go into Primarina, I think is a good sign for me. So if we can get a knockout or two with Gouging Fire, that's going to be amazing. I'm just going to go ahead and Flare Blitz here just to get off a lot of damage. They could also be Terra Water though. Water I think is a pretty solid Terra type on Landorus. Water is just an amazing Terra type on just about everything defensively. That does pretty good damage, but we're gonna have to see what they go for here to see if that's a good thing for us. They go Rock Tomb just to lower our speed, and I think, yeah, they selected that before I Terrastalized, so that's why they did that. Okay, so, oops, how do I do this again? Oh yeah. Wow, I'm at 0 attack and 0 speed. Is that, oh, well, it doesn't show the booster energy boost. So I'm still technically at +1 speed because of booster energy. I'm just gonna Flare Blitz again. I kind of feel like we can survive an Earthquake. I don't think they're gonna go for Rock Tomb again. Yeah, so they stay in. Again, I think this is a good sign. I think this means they do not have Primarina, because I feel like they would have gone into it already at this point. They do have Citrus Berry though, which is really unfortunate. They go Rock Tomb again though, just to get the speed drop once again. It is possible that they... I think I'm still faster. It is possible... I was going to say it's possible they're faster and they knock me out with like an Earthquake, but I get a critical hit there. I'm not sure that mattered. But now I'm truly at 0 speed and 0 attack, which means that there's a chance that Goldango outspeeds us. I think I'm faster than Goldango. What? They do have Primarina. Wow, okay. I'm really surprised about that. We'll see what their set is, because they could still like destroy us. I just felt like if Gouging Fire was my last Pokemon and they had Primarina in the back, I would just get destroyed. But we're gonna have to see what they go for here. They still have not Terrastalized. We get an attack boost here, which is a little rough. They go Psychic Noise, which importantly on Primarina is actually a water type move. If they have the Liquid Voice ability, that's actually a water type move. So Psychic Noise is an interesting one on Primarina there. And I actually cannot heal, I think, for 2 turns, which is what Psychic Noise does. So they go back into Goldango. They're going to take this Discharge pretty nicely. And again, I feel like they probably have... yeah, this is actually really rough for me. They probably have Covert Cloak. The question is, do I survive a Shadow Ball from Goldango? I'm not sure I do. Gouging Fire is here to take on their Goldango, and Porygon 2 is there for Primarina, and honestly, I just feel like my opponent has the momentum here, so All right, this is probably gonna, yeah, this does knock me out. So I don't think I can win at this point. Although I do get the special attack boost with Porygon, so if they don't have a Covert Cloak and I'm somehow able to paralyze them with Discharge, there's a chance I can win this battle because I'm gonna get a special attack boost here, which means that I'm gonna hit harder against, I mean, really their entire team. But yeah, so that's actually a pretty good place to start. And I just click Discharge here indefinitely. They do have Nasty Plot. I don't think we can run them out of recovers. I feel like they're gonna knock me out before I run them out of recovers. If we ever paralyze them though, we're in a great spot. But like I said, I feel like they just have Covert Cloak. I think I just Discharge again. They're at neutral special attack because they did drop it with the Make It Rain. So yeah, this is pretty annoying. Yeah, I mean, we're probably gonna lose this one. They go Make It Rain, that's gonna drop them again. We don't take that well at all. If they go Make It Rain here, they probably just end the battle, honestly. I get a critical hit, but what we really need is a paralysis, and again, I just don't think that's gonna happen. If we survive it, no we don't, of course we don't. All right, so we lose the first one, that's fine though. I think we got to show off the team, and I think Gouging Fire is really, really good in this meta, but if you face against Primarina, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble. So I was not expecting to face Primarina, and who knows, like Primarina is a Pokemon that I've had my eye on. I definitely want to build a team with it as well because it does look really, really good. I just kind of thought it was kind of like a sleeper pick because I don't know, I didn't feel like it was going to be like a breakout star, but it very well could be. For all I know, it might end up being one of the best new Pokemon in the meta, but you know, let's hope the next battle doesn't have Primarinas on it, and let's get to game 2. All right, here is game number 2. And my opponent has an interesting team. They have Whimsicott, which is another new Pokemon here for this new meta. And Whimsicott, I know, is a great Pokemon in doubles. You don't see it much in singles, so we're gonna see what it can do here. Feel like it can be very annoying for sure, so we're gonna have to be aware of that. From there, I guess the question that I like to ask is this a good Gouging Fire game? And I do think so, although they have Landorus, which we're gonna need to be aware of. Porygon 2 looks solid, but I am a little afraid of that Ogre Pond. But I do think I like Porygon 2 here, so Gouging Fire and Porygon 2 look solid, and then from there we're just gonna wanna bring stuff that can help cover what those two can't. And it could be Skarmory. It might be Skarmory. I mean, they do have a good fire type and a good electric type, so that might not go the way we want it. I guess the question is, would we Terrasilize Gouging Fire? And the answer is probably yes. I could lead Excadrill, but if they lead Landorus, I don't like that. So I feel like it's pretty likely they lead Whimsicott though. So, ooh, we're running out of time, so I'm just gonna bring these 3 here and we're gonna find out. I do want to bring Gouging Fire as much as possible though, because it's kind of the main, you know, Pokemon on the team, and I just want to see what it can do because I think it has a lot of potential. So far, you know, maybe it's better off just going purely offensive, and I do have a couple other sets in mind, but this one's just kind of a bulky Dragon Dance set, and we're gonna see if it works. They lead with Rotom, which I'm just... Oh, never mind. I forgot that I led Excadrill instead of Espeon. If I had led Espeon, I would be fine with this. However, watch this. They are gonna get one-hit KO'd by Earthquake because I have Mold Breaker. Unless they're Scarfed, which we will promptly find out if they are. And they didn't think about it. Yeah, that's the thing with Excadrill. Yeah, it has Mold Breaker. So don't forget that. If you're up against an Excadrill, it does say so at the very beginning when Excadrill gets sent into battle. It says like it has Mold Breaker or something, or it breaks the mold. Don't forget that though. So they go into Flutter Mane now, and Booster Energy, probably Speed. Okay. And I think I can survive a hit from them. Like, obviously they can't go Moonblast. I think I can survive a Shadow Ball? We're gonna find out. Okay, they do Terra. Maybe I should have just gone Earthquake, because if they were like Terra Fire, we'd kill them, and if they're Terra Fairy, we still do a lot of damage. They are Terra Fire, so they made a good prediction on their part, and I should have been smarter and just gone for the Earthquake. They probably actually just go Mystical Fire here, which will destroy us. I guess Gouging Fire would have ended up being an amazing switch in here, but, you know, oh wow, we actually survived. But the thing about going into Gouging Fire is I just don't want it to take needless damage, because I was actually expecting them to go Shadow Ball, and I definitely don't want to switch in my Gouging Fire on a Shadow Ball. Here, I'm just going to click Earthquake. I'm pretty much dead, and it's fine. I mean, Excadrill, you know, one-hit KO'd their Rotom, so it definitely did its part in this battle. And now we got their Terra as well, which is fantastic. So the question now is, which Pokemon do we go into? Porygon 2 is immune to Shadow Ball, but Moonblast and Mystical Fire, the two moves that they're likely to go for, could potentially lower our special attack, which could be a big problem. Also with Download against Fluttermane, we are always going to be getting an attack boost because Fluttermane's special defense is really high. So I think Gouging Fire is the right play here. We know they have booster energy, so we know for a fact that they are faster than us. The funny thing here is though, let's see what they have. Do I just Terra right now? If I Terra now and their last Pokemon's Ogerpon, that's pretty bad for me. I think I'm not going to Terra. I might regret this, but we're going to go Dragon Claw here. The reason I thought about Terrastalizing, okay, they go Moonblast. I should take this really well. Yeah, I do. Gouging Fire is really good. I can go Dragon Claw because they're no longer a fairy type. The reason I considered Terrastalizing is because I know they're faster than me, and I thought that they might possibly have Thunder Wave, which again, Fluttermanes do typically run these days, so, or maybe not typically, but it is not uncommon for a Fluttermane to have Thunder Wave, so anyway, it doesn't end up mattering too much, and they have pressure on their King Gambit, which is pretty interesting, and they can no longer Terrastalize. They could, like, Sucker Punch, though, but I think I'm okay. I think I'm just going to click Flare Blitz, because there's no reason not to. Just get massive damage on them, even if they survive, which they do. We burn them, so we win. That's actually really unfortunate for my opponent. I think that's a 10% chance of burn, which obviously really sucks. Oh, they only have Guillotine, though. I mean, I feel like if you have like another dark move like Kowtow Cleave or something, you might as well go for it. Or Sucker Punch. I mean, I wonder what else they have. Like, basically, if you don't have Sucker Punch and you do have Guillotine, like, yeah, I don't know. Either way, that ends up going our way, so... I still felt pretty confident. Like, we got a lot of luck there. First of all, we burned them. Second of all, they missed the Guillotine, which I guess is not necessarily luck on our side because it's a 30% chance to hit. But even if we had not burned them and we assume they knock us out with like Kowtow Cleave or something, we go into Porygon and then I think we get a special attack boost unless they're Assault Vest. And then we just pretty much spam Discharge at that point. And unless they have a fighting type move, we're pretty much good to go. It's a funny play there because with Porygon 2 against King Gambit, we might want to Terrastalize against a potential fighting move, but at the same time, if we Terrastalize, then their Steel type moves do more damage. So I think we're just better off. I think we're better off not Terrastalizing, because another thing if we Terrastalize is we also resist their dark moves, but I don't know. The potential, I think it's really likely they have a Steel type move, and I just don't want to run that risk. Anyway, I think we had a good chance there, even if we hadn't gotten the burn from Flare Blitz. So yeah, we win the second game, and we get to show off the real power and bulk of Gouging Fire, which I love. So let's go to game 3. And we are on game number 3. My opponent has a Powdon, and looking at the bottom of their team, they have Excadrill. So it's pretty likely that they have Sand Rush Excadrill, which is another amazing ability for Excadrill. It actually turns Excadrill into a really terrifying sweeper if they get up the sand. So one Pokemon I'm actually really liking here is Skarmory. Skarmory looks great against most of their team, so I do think I'm going to bring it. And it also kind of stops a potential Excadrill sweep. So I really like that. So we're going to bring Skarmory. Porygon 2 is also decent because they have a lot of physical attackers. This is my physically defensive Porygon 2, obviously. Yeah, Porygon 2 looks solid. So I like these two Pokemon. And finally, we have to make a decision. I actually think I want to bring Espeon because it's pretty likely that they lead Hippowdon. Another Pokemon, however, that they could lead with is the Meowscarada. So the question is, would we ever want to Terrastalize Skarmory? Probably not, unless their Fluttermane has Mystical Fire. Would we ever want to Terrastalize Porygon? And I think the answer is also probably not. So I'm going to bring Espeon, and if they lead with Meowscarada, I will probably just Terrastalize into a normal type so we can survive a Sucker Punch and probably kill them with Dazzling Gleam. Otherwise, if they don't lead with Meowscarada, then we have a lot of flexibility with our Terra. So I like Espeon here because it's great against Hippowdon. You know, we have Magic Bounce, so they can't Stealth Rock. They also cannot Yawn. They also cannot Whirlwind, so it kind of renders their Hippowdon pretty obsolete. And we can also trick them a Choice Scarf if we are so inclined. And they do end up leading with Meowscarada. I am naturally faster, or I am faster because I have Choice Scarf. But again, these Pokemon typically run Focus Sash. This is actually a tough decision because if we Terra, it's also possible they go like Toxic Spikes, and that would change them into a Poison type. I'm gonna just do it though. I'm just gonna play it really safe. I know Terastallizing turn 1 is really rough, but again, as I explained, like it makes sense here because it allows us to survive a Sucker Punch, and it also makes it so that, you know, or also our other two Pokemon don't really feel like they need to Terra this game. We also could just die to the Sucker Punch, which is something I didn't really consider, but no, they actually don't even go for it. They do have Focus Sash, which I'm not super surprised by, and they actually just go for the knockoff, which is gonna do massive damage, but we do survive. If they don't have the Sucker Punch, we kill them, but I feel like they probably do. I mean, it's kind of like, why wouldn't you run it on Meowscarada? Oh no, duh, they're faster anyway because they knocked off the Choice Scarf. So, this is actually pretty, I guess it's not that bad. What I was gonna say here though is this is scary because of the fact that they have knockoff, right? But the thing is, we don't really desperately need the Covert Cloak on Skarm, so I'm actually gonna set up an Iron Defense. We've recognized, oh, never mind. All right, but anyway, that's fine. We recognize that Skarmory is great against their team, so I guess that was pretty predictable on my part. So let's go ahead and finish them off with the Body Press. We'll kind of preserve that Iron Head because it's possible if they go into like Flutter Mane right now, they might not expect me to have Iron Head, so they might think that they can like, you know, go into Flutter Mane and do a lot of damage. But yeah, this ends up being a really awkward exchange for us. I mean, there's a chance, there is a possibility that Skarmory itself can like solo their team depending on what else they have, but you know, if we ever do have to switch into our Porygon, that's going to be rough because it's going to get poisoned. But they do go into Flutter Mane, which I'm not super afraid of. Of course, we do have the Covert Cloak, which I guess Covert Cloak's great if they go for Shadow Ball here. So I'm going to click Iron Head and hope they do not Terrastallize, and they don't. So we should take this, not extremely well. We do take it. That's a, you know, 3-hit KO, which I'm happy about. And we do a lot of damage with the Iron Head. And now the taunt wears off, so we can Roost. I actually think I'm going to, this is tough actually. If we Roost, I'm just gonna click Iron Head again. Okay, it looks like if they have a Terra, like they might just be Terra Fairy, which is why they didn't Terrastallize. Because I feel like in that situation, I mean, maybe they figure their Flutter Mane's just about dead anyway, but I feel like in that situation, there's a good chance to Terrastallize because, you know, if you can resist the hit or take less damage, that's great. But anyway, they don't have the Sand Rush sweep here. Their last Pokemon is Iron Bundle, which is pretty scary. Again, I am max special defense. My Body Press. This is a close battle. Let's see. Let me check. I mean, oops. I'm trying to see my defense stat because just to see how much. I mean, the thing is, we're gonna click Body Press here regardless, right? Or do we just click Roost? I think we click Roost because if we survive a hit from them, then we're okay. Well, never mind. They hit the Hydro Pump and we do not survive. Awkward. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, yeah, because my thought process was if we happen to survive whatever hit they go for, then we get to just recover off all that damage, and then we know we're going to survive any subsequent hits. Now, I think we're going to get a special attack boost here. So, unless they're Terra Ground, we have a big decision here. We can Discharge, but if they're Terra Ground, we just get destroyed. We can Terra Blast, which is obviously going to do less damage, but it's also still going to do decent damage. I think Terra Blast is actually the choice. Because, again, they still have their Terra type. Or they still have their Terra. So let's see what they are. I actually don't know what the most common Terra type on Bundle is. Terra Water. What? Okay, so Discharge would have won us the game. Terra Blast might still win us the game, but if they hit their Hydro Pump, they might just win here. Let's see how bulky Porygon 2 really is. Okay, we are very bulky. All right, let's see what happens, everyone. Oh, it's so close. All right, I wonder if they're choice specs, and if they miss this Hydro Pump, we win. Otherwise, if they're not choice specs and they just go for Freeze Dry, we lose. But the funny thing is, I lost us the game. Yeah, they just hit it. That's fine. I deserve that because I made a stupid mistake of clicking Terra Blast. Again, though, it's a prediction kind of thing, right? And I definitely over-predicted there because what I expected was if they were Terra Ground, which not a lot of people run. I run it on some of my Iron Bundles, but I don't think it's like the most common Terra type. But if they were Terra Ground, we definitely lose the game because obviously they take 0 damage from our Discharge and then they do massive damage to us. All right, let's take a look at the team once again here. And after playing those battles, let's talk about how each of those Pokemon felt. Here's the funny thing, we never brought Flutter main, even though it's, you know, again, one of the best Pokemon in the meta and probably will continue to be. But I just wanted to try out everything else. Espeon felt as good as it's been, you know, it's very situational, but when you do end up bringing it, it can feel very, very good against certain things because a lot of the times they don't expect it. So yeah, Espeon was great. Excadrill also was good when I brought it, you know, there were a couple of awkward situations with it, but I think it's a good Pokemon, and obviously we got to 1-hit KO the Rotom, so it makes certain Pokemon with like Levitate or like Mimikyu, for example, just so much worse, and a lot of the times people don't remember about the Mold Breaker, so you know, it ignores their abilities and allows you to attack them through those abilities. So yeah, Excadrill is, I think it's going to be a very good Pokemon as well. Porygon 2 just felt like the way it always does. Obviously, I made that huge misplay in that last battle there, but I think Porygon 2 has a lot of promise. This particular build is max HP, max defense, but Porygon 2 is so good. You could go special defense, you could go mixed defenses, you could go offensive. It's just such a great Pokemon. So, you know, again, awkward situation in that last battle, but I think it generally has a lot going for it. Now let's talk about Gouging Fire, and I think Gouging Fire is great. You know, it does a lot of damage and it's really bulky. There were a lot of situations in that battle where I took a lot less damage than I was expecting to, and it's got great coverage. So just be wary of Primarinas, but if they don't have Primarinas, you're in a good spot. And I also, something else I've considered with Gouging Fire is potentially swapping out either Morning Sun or Dragon Dance for Earthquake. So Earthquake gives you even better coverage, and of course we are Terra Ground, so it does extra damage on top of that. And there's some situations where, you know, Morning Sun, you just don't really feel like you're using it, so it's possible you could just throw Earthquake in there and it would be very good. Finally, we have Skarmory, which I think it was okay. You know, it definitely felt less good than Corviknight from the special defensive side, because again, Corviknight has higher HP and special defense, so Corviknight would have taken those special attacks a lot better than Skarmory, and we didn't even get a good opportunity to body press with Skarmory. So yeah, here's the funny thing, spoiler alert, on a lot of the teams that I've built coming up, I do have Skarmory on the team, so I might change the EV spread or maybe change the Pokemon altogether, but Skarmory didn't feel amazing in this video. But, you know, there were situations where it felt okay, and its typing alone is actually just fantastic against a lot of Pokemon, so maybe you are just better off going like physically defensive with Body Press and just not ever bringing it in against special attackers. But, you know, against Dragonite and Excadrill and stuff like that, it is amazing. It has a very, very good typing that is very difficult for them to deal with. And I know this is a special attacker, even though I just said, you know, don't bring it in against special attackers, but Ursaluna, Blood Moon Ursaluna is another Pokemon that can do almost nothing against Skarmory. You know, you resist or are immune to like all of its great moves. So there's a place for Skarmory in the meta. It just might not be this EV spread. But anyways, there's the team. So that video, you know, is a lot of fun showing off all these new Pokemon. Let me know if you try out the team for yourself. Let me know what you thought of the video and of these Pokemon. And I hope you enjoyed. And I'm really excited for this new season. Like I said, I have a ton of teams already ready to go. Now the thing that I'm trying to decide is like, you know, the next video I do, I'm going to try to upload a lot more because I'm really excited for this new meta. I'm wondering if I should just keep doing a bunch of new teams over and over, like every video is a new team, which I wouldn't mind doing, but also like I also want to, you know, spend time focusing on these Pokemon. So maybe I'll do a variation of this team in the next video with some changes. I might actually do that, or maybe I'll just show off my other new team, because again, I have so many new teams already built. So let me know in the comments which one you would rather see. And like I said, I'll try to upload a lot more frequently because I'm really excited. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Please leave a like and subscribe for more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet videos. And I hope you have a great day. Talk to you next time.